Hold on tight, because Zootopia is packed with details and Easter eggs that only true Disney fans will catch. Are you ready to uncover the secrets behind this movie? Ratatouille. The first thing you need to understand about this movie is that it is extremely Disney. Believe it, this is not an exaggeration at all. One of the coolest Easter eggs happens during the escape scene from the Lynx family mansion. At one point, Gary runs through the kitchen where a lion is cooking, and when the snake slides across the table, the chef's hat falls off, revealing that the lion is being controlled by a rat. This is a huge reference to the Pixar movie Ratatouille, and when the reveal happens, the head chef yells, "I knew it!" It's as if the exact same story from the movie is happening inside Zootopia, and that's incredibly fun. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that the lion is actually cooking the dish that gave the 2007 movie its name. Pretty cool, right? But believe it, this is only one of many Disney references in this story. So grab your popcorn and get comfy on the couch. Another Cinewave is starting. Mystery. One thing you can be absolutely sure of is that this movie hides a major mystery. The book Gary steals is deeply connected to Zootopia's dark past, and a sinister figure is watching our heroes from the shadows. When Judy and Nick steal a pig's car, we see for the first time that someone is watching them. From the very beginning, this character has been hiding in the darkness. In the trailer, we saw someone wearing a hood moving toward our heroes, but the curious thing is that this character doesn't exist in the movie, at least not in the way you would expect. This character has been there from the start, planning everything. So be careful, looks can be deceiving. Disney fooled us in the trailer, and the movie will probably fool you too. Television. For the first time, we see Nick's house, and believe it, he's extremely messy. But one detail full of Easter eggs appears when he turns on the TV. Up at the top of the screen, the name Hulu is written, and everyone knows this is a big reference to the streaming service Hulu, which belongs to Disney. This is super fun because Mickey's Studios didn't hold back on referencing themselves, but Nick's TV hides even more interesting details. Disney. Here we see the animal versions of all Disney brands. Mickey's Studios are called Deersney, while the Star Wars franchise with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader becomes Star Roars. Is Luke supposed to be a rabbit or a fox here? Pixar, responsible for Toy Story and Inside Out, becomes Pigsar in Zootopia's universe. National Geographic, a channel for nature lovers, turns into Rat Geo, and ESPN, Disney's sports brand, becomes Elks. This definitely makes you want to watch Disney movies in their animal versions, right? The question is, what would Nick choose to watch? We'll never know because he's interrupted before he gets the chance. Movies. Still inside Nick's home, we see several animal versions of Disney content. There's a series called Ramdor, clearly referencing Star Wars Andor. We also see a musical named Hamilton, which is obviously an Easter egg for the world-famous Broadway musical, Hamilton. A bit further down, there's a cartoon titled Future Llama, another Easter egg, this time referencing Futurama. And in the corner of the screen, there's a show called Piggity Fall, which is clearly a nod to the animated series Gravity Falls. As you can tell, Disney really wanted to cram in as many tributes as possible. Horror. At one point in the movie, our favorite fox, Nick, is arrested by the police, and there he meets the former mayor Bellwether again. But movie lovers immediately noticed an incredible reference to one of the greatest horror films ever made. Bellwether's jail cell is identical to the cell of the villain Hannibal Lecter. The glass door with ventilation holes, the dark brick walls. This is a reference made especially for fans of classic scary movies. And the funniest part is that Bellwether is a sheep and was doing terrible things to animals who were prey to predators. And what does this have to do with the villain she references? Well, let's just say that just like the sheep, he was worse than a predator. Would you rather be a rabbit or a fox? Comment number zoo so we can get to know you. Dolphin. When our heroes visit the swamp market, something really funny happens. A dolphin is confirmed in the movie for the very first time. And this is huge because it proves that mammals who live entirely in the water exist in this world. Nick even makes a dark joke saying nobody needs a hole in their head, but that makes the dolphin furious because that's literally how he breathes. Will we get a movie in this same universe showing aquatic mammals? That could definitely work. When Judy is looking at her phone and listening to a podcast, we see the host Nibbles, a beaver, continent, showing a drawing of a map where Zootopia is on one side and a landmass shaped like a snake is on the other side of the ocean. She says most of the population lives outside the continent, meaning there could be an entire reptile continent across the ocean. This Zootopia universe really has endless stories to explore. Code. Now we're going to show you a very fun Easter egg that only true tech fans will understand. Or better, we'll explain it to you. There's a tense scene inside the police tech office where we see the leopard from the precinct's front desk using one of the computers. On one of the post-its, it says, "No place like 127.0.0.1. And if you're not great with computers, you might not get it. But this is the code that points to the machine being used at that exact moment, meaning the computer that's on screen. Basically, it says, "There's no place like home," but written in a way only computer nerds will recognize. And that's interesting because it connects directly with Zootopia 2, since the story is about a snake who wants to return home. Doll. Do you remember that in the first movie we discover that Chief Bogo was a secret fan of the singer Gazelle, right? But it looks like now he's no longer embarrassed about it. If you pay very close attention to the scene where he's scolding Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, you can see a doll of his favorite singer Gazelle sitting right next to him. Does he collect those Funko Pop figures? And the most important part, is the sheriff finally happy to dance to Gazelle's songs without being ashamed of hiding? Photo. Still inside Chief Bogo's office, we can see a trash can full of papers. But the interesting thing is that there's a photo thrown inside it, and look who it is, the former Mayor Lionheart. And that's strange, isn't it? Why would there be a picture of the former mayor there? Not to mention that he was the villain who was kidnapping animals in the previous movie. Good thing Chief Bogo threw that photo away. Newspaper. Still in the same scene inside the sheriff's office, we can see a few framed pieces hanging on the wall, but one of them stands out with a blue banner and a very familiar typeface. It says, "The Tusker Times," and anyone who likes reading the news knows this is a big reference to the New York Times. We know it's a reference because the font style is the same, and the name of both newspapers looks very similar. It's really cool to see how the movie's production team thought about every detail. The subscribe button is right there, waiting for you. How about clicking and keeping up with everything we post? Soda. Want to see another super fun detail? When Nick is grabbing a soda from the vending machine at the station, we can see a can of a very familiar drink. Have you ever tried a koala cola? Do you think this soda is black? Of course, this is a big reference to Coca-Cola, the most famous soda in the world. But since in the world of Zootopia it's called Koala Cola, does that mean the mascot is a koala? Probably yes. Koala. Hold on, because the koala jokes aren't over yet. Near the end of the movie, we see a scene where one of these animals is cooling off with a drink in front of a poster that says Outback Island. And because of that, even before he speaks, we already know he's Australian, since Outback is the name of a huge desert in Australia. And below it, the text says, "Home of the Pina Koala," which is a reference to the drink he's enjoying, the famous Pina Colada. Looks like someone in the movie's production team really likes koalas. Memory. Now here's an Easter egg that only those who watched the Zootopia miniseries will recognize. At one moment in the movie, Judy realizes something important about Zootopia's past. She shows who actually created the city, Gary's great-grandmother, the snake. And in the serpent's memory, we see a scene showing 3 polar bears, 2 adults and 1 child. These 3 are the same polar bears who appear in the series Zootopia Plus, where the mob boss Mr. Big tells his family how he met the polar bears and how he built his empire. That smaller cub was a great friend of Mr. Big and is probably his strongest bodyguard, the big bear who carries Mr. Big everywhere. And since Zootopia is 100 years old, we can say for sure that Mr. Big is extremely old. This was quite a revelation. Music. Almost at the end of the movie, when a big battle on the ice is about to begin, we see Paubert Linksley, the Lynx Chief's son, and until that moment, a friend of Gary and Judy, walking toward a hedge maze. The music that plays when he approaches the maze is the same music used in the movie The Shining. In that film, there is a battle in the snow where the villain is finally defeated. Zootopia 2 is brilliant for including this reference, because younger fans may not notice it, but older fans definitely caught what the creators were doing here. It was a really cool reference. Car. If you pay really close attention to the details of the city's cars, you'll notice that they have symbols very similar to brands we know in the real world. When Flash, the sloth, is driving super fast, there's a yellow car where the front emblem looks a lot like a Volkswagen logo. License plate. And finally, still talking talking about the cars in the movie, the funniest one is the pig's car. And a cool detail is that the license plate on this pink car says Hoink, which is nothing more than a reference to the sound pigs make. Pretty fun, right? There are still many more details and Easter eggs in this movie, but that's a topic for another time. The fun doesn't stop here. There are 2 amazing videos waiting for you on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.